We're back. Is it running?
Hey, you should be clapping.
One of those claps. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be clapping.
That's on the no list.
I don't know what's on the no list anymore. Everything is on the no list.
Sharp movements of his arms are on the no list.
Yeah.
No chicken dance.
They're worried about the sternum. They had to cut my sternum. Crank you open.
Oh, nice.
Take the heart out. Get up underneath. Get that blood flowing again.
Hopefully you didn't leave
Quad.
any junior mints in there. Or anything.
The junior mint.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. Welcome everyone back to No Comics for Old Men, where I'm certifiably old now, having a quadruple bypass only 14 days ago. But I come out, make a show for you, so watch the goddamn thing.
Emmet is now semi-bionic, so the show should be more interesting.
I actually have blood flow now, so you're in trouble. We're going to start out with Dark Ark number 3. Aftershock, company that you know that we love and we think is killing it. There's a couple of books that we didn't think were making it, but the majority of their books are really on point. Colin Bunn, the writer, and Juan Doe doing Dark Ark. It's a good book, man. It's like, like we said before, it's the reverse of like the regular Noah's Ark. It's what if all the evil was brought on one ship to the next level. It's well written. It's interesting. The art's good.
Yeah, it's got a lot of cool takes on classic monsters, even some stuff I've seen in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
So it's definitely a cool book. A lot of really cool monsters in it. Number 3 is kind of like a murder mystery. Is now like the monsters are starting to not get along and kill each other. Go figure. If vampires, werewolves, and chimera living together, it's going to be a problem. But definitely a good book. Again, Colin Bunn, I don't know. The guy doesn't seem to write anything bad, or nothing I've read by him so far has been bad. It's been really good. He takes good concepts and turns them on their ear. So I definitely recommend pick it up and read it.
Yeah. Now we're going to talk about a Tomahawk. I haven't had a chance to read it. I have had a chance to go through it. It's magazine size from Image. Who's the artist and the...
It's written by Donny Cates, and the art is by Ian Benjamin. It's kind of... The best way I could describe it is probably like a cybernetic Conan the Barbarian in outer space. It's a lot of action. It's really... it's kind of like a fantasy story set in space with mostly a cybernetic hero. But artwork-wise is what really attracted me to it, because it kind of looks like if Kirby did flash tattoo drawings instead of comics, if he actually did tattoos, that's kind of what the artwork reminds me of. It has very classic tattoo style to it. And actually, Ian Benjamin, that's what he does for a living. Because if anybody that works in comics knows, you can't make a lot of money making comics. But he is a tattoo artist, and it definitely shows in the book. It's a good read. It's a quick read. It's actually put out by Image, but it was originally serialized in Heavy Metal over like the last 6 months to a year. And if you haven't read the new Heavy Metal magazine, you should pick it up, because Grant Morrison's been editor-in-chief since probably for the last 6 or 8 months, and it's just been a return to form for the magazine, like the old days when it first started. There's a lot of weird sci-fi stories and stress on just amazing artwork. So
wow, I didn't know that. I'm gonna definitely have to check that out. Let's start bringing that in.
Yeah, it's good stuff. He's been doing a good job on it. He's really revamped the magazine.
That's cool. Well, we'll have to grab a couple and we'll review it next time.
Yeah.
Next up, another Colin Bunn artist, Kolak, Unholy Grail. We've been digging this since the start. This is number 4. The story continues. It's still keeping my attention. It's still moving along. There's new twists and turns to it. It's a great retelling of the, that's the 4th time I've said it. It's a great retelling of the Arthurian tale. It's just...
Yeah, it really is. Colin Bunn did kind of what he did with Dark Ark, where he took the Arthurian myths and he turned them on his ear and kind of made them darker, or like the dark side, you know, the mirror dimension of King Arthur, where Merlin's a demon and you know, giving Arthur evil advice.
Yeah.
But they just introduced Morgana Le Fay, which was pretty cool. So there's a lot of good stuff in the book, and it seems like a lot more good stuff to come.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how long this one goes. I mean, the Arthurian tale does run its course at some point, so I don't see this going an ongoing like 60 issue or whatever. So, I mean, if you like maybe a 12, maybe even 24.
Sure.
One or 2 years.
Hopefully they know when to end it, you know, when it needs to end.
Oh, absolutely. Look, this guy's writing so many books. I'm sure he can't wait for something to end.
Yeah, this is true.
So then my son had said that this Antarctic Press President Pence was a laugh riot. I didn't get that. There are some memes in there that had a few chuckles. The art is subpar. The writing is...
Yeah, it's like you said, it's like a 20-page meme, kind of. You know, I mean, it makes fun of Pence, so that kind of has a redeeming quality to it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. I mean, you could just watch regular TV or.
Right. But if you
listen.
love memes, you're going to love this book.
It's a book full of them.
Like, memes are new to us, and yeah, every once in a while there's a couple of really, really funny ones, but...
Yeah. We don't get that internet thing.
The thing here is, for me, is like the memes are, they're funny the first time you see them.
Yeah. They wear
Maybe
thin
the
quick.
second. By the third time, you're like, if this ends up on my
Yeah.
feed one more
See it
time,
again. Yeah.
I'm killing that person. I'm seeking them out. So I think we've talked about this comic 3 or 4 times. It's finally out. It came out on November 8th. Second issue will be out on December 8th. Coyotes by my nephew Sean Lewis and Caitlin Yarsky. They put together this book. It is a retelling myth of werewolves and kind of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
A little of that.
A little bit.
A little Red Riding Hood with
Little-
a sword. too.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
The
I
main
didn't catch that.
character's nickname is
It's
Red.
Red. All right.
And they call her Red because she's going to be covered in blood with the coyotes, which it's a very cool story, but like you said, kind of like that retelling, like Sean took an idea that was there already and turned it on its
Right.
ear, which he does with a lot of the stuff he does write. And I mean, I really like the book. I think it's cool. It's basically, it just seems like it's set in Mexico.
Currently is set in Mexico. There's whispers that there may be places around the world where this is happening, and not only in Mexico. We'll see. It depends on how long the book lasts, and so go out there and buy them up, read them up, so that we can find out where the rest of the werewolves and the other champions are killing them.
Yeah, I mean it's a cool premise with the coyotes, how they prey on mostly women, but I guess the Mexicans who are going to try to cross the border or something, these guys intercept them and kill them before they can get there.
Yeah.
And it seems like what they've alluded to is they're either werewolves or they're like skinwalkers. Because
Right.
they do mention something where you remove the pelt and that takes away the power.
Right.
So.
There is a couple of different really old myths about werewolves. One of them is wearing the pelt of particular wolves.
Yeah,
will
like, Indian shamanism.
will bring you the powers and the aspects. You'll become a wolf, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the one he actually tapped into for this. Yeah, it's. I mean, I can't say enough about it, but of course I'm biased. But
well, as an unbiased opinion, I really like Sean's work. I mean, you can tell that his time as being a playwright has really transferred into comics as far as his dialogue. It's very crisp. There's not too much flowery language or narration, or they don't go too overboard with the dialogue. He just gives you enough to get the feel for the characters and move the story along, which really is a skill in itself, because I don't know, nowadays everything's about decompression, stretching the story out. So there's, splash pages of cities and narration that doesn't move the story along.
Artists
so
love
you
to
need
work
page.
with him, like especially because of that. He allows the art to really tell a lot of the story, which a lot of artists, they don't. They're told exactly what, oh, this is going to be a 2-shot. I want this character and this character to be looking at each other, and and that's it. And then they don't have any decision. And then I want 6 panels on this page.
Yeah.
And when the collaboration comes together, where hey, here's free reign. Here's the kind of story I want to tell, and this is where we want it to go, and show me what you've got.
Speaking of words, name of the book.
Yeah, so we got a lot more to come.
We're just gonna do jokes and bad monologues for the next half hour.
Yeah. So, like I said, December 8th, Coyotes 2 comes out. Check it out. It's a low number run. There wasn't a lot of orders, so if you jump on it now, make sure you pick up your copy. When they go to second print, first print's going to be worth a lot more money. I think maybe we'll talk about some speculation in the show in the future.
Sure.
We never really were big on that. We read what we liked. Most of the stuff we read was absolutely and still is worthless. to us, priceless.
Yeah, that's true. I never bought because it's a number one.
No, I read
if it didn't interest me,
if it was really good read.
That's why I know we were talking about it before. I hate crossovers.
Yeah.
Although we should probably do one eventually.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight's Metal. That's how you do a crossover.
Yeah. Actually, that's what we'll do next week. We'll talk about, and I know we were going to stick to independence, but this is too good to pass.
Yeah, it's definitely worth talking about.
So we'll do a Marvel and DC, I think.
With the Marvel one.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is that we're only gonna do Marvel and DC if it's either really, really good or really, really, really bad. So we're gonna put the really good against the Marvel's really bad. I don't know. Pick any of the last 8 or 10 crossovers.
The only thing I could say is with the news with Marvel with Axel Alonso stepping down as editor-in-chief and C.B. Cebulski taking over. Hopefully it'll be
Fingers
changed
crossed.
for the better.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really read a lot of Marvel lately. There's a reason why, but hopefully that will change soon.
My worry is that they've already kind of set a lot of stuff in motion, and he's coming in and they've already changed over to Legacy. I mean, they've already done a bunch of things, and then if he starts trying to move part, it could be a disaster. But if he just rights the ship and kind of plans next year.
I think they may try to carry out what they're doing now and maybe end it.
How about execute it better?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing with the last that was it the Secret Empire.
Yeah.
Interesting premise, but oh boy, did they drop the ball many times. I mean that was like serial fumbling all through, and it lasted forever.
Yeah.
And there was too many books to follow, and at the end, you got a really lazy bad ending.
Yeah. And then Marvel actually had to put out a book to tell you how to read the series because it was so out of sync and out of order. Once all the books were out, Marvel actually put out a book. It was free at most comic shops on how to read the Secret Empire book.
Which is really not a good sign
No.
for any kind of cohesion in the story if you need a how-to guide.
Yeah.
It should
How
just
to
be
read our comics.
Read issue 1, read issue 2, read issue 3. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. And then if a tie-in book comes out on that week, it should be pertinent to that week's book, not anything before and definitely not anything after. But none of their tie-ins happen to land on the right weeks that they made any sense.
A lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities.
And it's a shame because I don't like to bash Marvel. I mean, that's how I started getting into comics with Marvel and superheroes.
I've always been a DC guy, so I'm loving it.
I like DC too, but it was like I want quality stuff. That's it. If I'm going to spend $3, $4, $5 on the comic, you got to give me quality stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend that money on mediocre. And that's at best.
And the sad thing is that some of the best books are independents, and they don't get enough looks from the public. So
yeah, it's a shame.
Look on your independent shelf and start digging through some of those because the
Something
best
for
stuff.
everybody.
Yeah, there is something for everybody, and some of the best stuff is being done on independence now. I would definitely say some of the stories on Aftershock are better than anything Marvel is doing. DC has stepped up, but Image and Aftershock and There's a few others that are really just killing it.
Those are the two that definitely stood out to me. There's a great diversity in what they're releasing. Like I said, there's something for everybody. There's, you know, fantasy, science fiction, action, adventure, whatever it is.
Except
it's
there's
there.
I don't think they have their superhero book was a fail. That's the one I didn't like.
Oh, I see. I haven't read that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I haven't seen is them do superheroes. But I figure, you know, if you're into superheroes, you got Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
It was like that's kind of the hard sell if you're
A little bit of
creating
Image.
something.
There's a few
Yeah.
Image.
Wildcats. Warren Ellis is doing that series, which we should probably talk about it sometime too.
Invincible's ending. 144 going to be the last Invincible. So I don't know how that's going to affect things. If that's going to move and change to a different book or some of the characters spin off or something. But there's a lot to talk about, and we'll be back next week to do that. Keep reading comics.
Great.